What's going on, guys? Jeffrey Cooperstein here with Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Just wanted to come with you guys with a little at-home style video after last night's game against the Utah Jazz. A couple of talking points that I think we should just jump right in and get to. Klay Thompson obviously making his debut for the Dallas Mavericks, and it looked like it was a range of emotions for Klay Thompson. I was pretty impressed with his debut. He started out a little bit cold, ended up playing just the first half. He had 10 points in about 18 minutes of action, and Klay said he was nervous for like 4 days, and it felt like it was the most nervous he had been since the NBA Finals in 2015, his first time, obviously, in the finals. So that was cool to see that he still has the jitters, even though he's a 4-time NBA champ and whatnot. And he said he wasn't surprised that he had those, and it's just like human nature to have those when you change from a situation like where he was in Golden State, where he was so comfortable and he was there for his entire career. Obviously makes a switch over to Dallas this summer for the first time. So it's like going to school all over again. And it was really cool to see Klay Thompson in a Mavericks uniform. He did have a little back tightness, he said, but he should be fine to play in the preseason game against the Clippers on Monday. So should be no big deal there. He's basically just like, yeah, I'm 34 years old. I love to be healthy and able, but I'm going to be fine and manage through it. So he should be all good there. What I also thought was interesting was he started out slow, but he ended up getting a few good open looks there to get himself in rhythm. So I really liked that he was within the flow of the offense, wasn't trying to do too much and whatnot. And it's just so exciting to see Klay here in a Mavericks uniform. If you are excited to see Klay in a Mavericks uniform, go ahead and type me down in the comment section. I know I am as well. Just some other news and notes from the game. I thought the starting lineup was pretty interesting, having Omax Prosper in there. He had 10 points and 10 boards, 33 minutes. That's the heaviest dose he's gotten in the preseason so far in these 2 games. Look, Omax is a guy that's going to give you boards if he's playing. He has the frame. He's 6'8". He's super long. He has long arms. He's thick. He's going to get down there in the dirty areas and try to get those boards for the team. So I like what I saw from Omax as well. I think his development is maybe going a little slower than Mavs fans might have hoped, including myself. I would have really liked to see him a big part of this rotation this year, but I don't really think we're going to get that. But it was good to see Omax there in a situation where he's in the starting lineup and he's just out there with the first team and doing everything. Dereck Lively struggled a little bit in his first half. 4 points and just 3 rebounds, 2 steals as well in 18 minutes, a -10 for Dereck Lively. So not much to write home about there. Gafford was pretty solid, though. He had 15 points and 7 boards in the first half. Most of these guys, the main rotation guys for the Mavs, played in the first half. It sounds like they're going to play into the third quarter against the Clippers, and then close to what Jason Kidd said, their regular season minutes in the preseason finale against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, Luka is not going to play against the Clippers on Monday, but expect to see him in that Milwaukee game to get him just one ramp up before the season starts. So I think that'll be cool to see Luka and the boys in a preseason game, maybe playing 25 to 28 minutes. I doubt they'll play like 36. Like Kidd, would probably play them in the regular season, but getting them close to 25 to 28, I think would be pretty cool to see. Let's see. Jaz Gortman, I think that's somebody we need to talk about. Obviously, we saw the news over the last couple of days. First, the Mavs cut AJ Lawson. Then he went through waivers, and then they signed him back to a 2-way deal. So as of right now, the Mavericks have their 3 2-way spots occupied in AJ Lawson, Kessler Edwards, and Brandon Williams. Now, Brandon Williams hasn't played in the first 2 preseason games because he's been hurt. Look, I think that availability is your best ability at this point. You could see a Jaz Gortman take that final 2-way spot. I know it's not really that fair to Williams, who was with the team basically for the entire season last year and was slated to be the 2-way guy this year. But if we haven't seen him and we've seen what we've seen from Gortman, I think he could take that final 2-way spot. And as far as Lawson goes, I'm excited they brought him back. I think this was always going to be what they were going to end up doing. He he wasn't going to be on the main roster because they already had the 15 spots open. It was a non-guaranteed contract, so the Mavericks gave him that contract prior to March 1st of last year, so he could be eligible for the postseason because they had an open roster spot after the trade deadline. So they said, might as well just give AJ this final spot so he'll be eligible to play in the playoffs. The rest of it would be non-guaranteed, so Nico Harrison and the Mavs front office basically had this plan in mind from the get-go, where if they filled out the roster here in the preseason, they could cut Lawson and bring him back on a two-way deal, and that's exactly what they've done. And just a quick reminder on those two-way contracts, you're eligible to play in 50 regular season games, but you can't play in the postseason. So if the Mavs wanted to elevate one of those guys, they probably have to cut somebody else and elevate them. So we'll see what they do around the trade deadline, if there's going to be a two-way elevation again, maybe a Kessler Edwards as well. Did Kessler Edwards even play last night? I'm not sure he did. No, he did not. So Edwards is still dealing with that ankle sprain. And we'll see what happens there. But so it's Edwards, Williams, and Lawson on the two-way deals right now. Jamarion Sharp is the guy who I think is going to end up being in the G League for this Mavs team, and his chance of making the team via a two-way is probably come and gone at this point. I like Jamarion Sharp. I think he has an NBA skill in shot blocking, which, it isn't very common, if we're being honest, around these parts. But the Mavs are just so deep at center now. You have, obviously, the two in Dereck Lively and Daniel Gafford. Coming off the bench, you have Dwight Powell. You have Maxi Kleber, who plays center when he's healthy. Hopefully he gets healthy soon and is able to play as well. So you have 4 options at center. 5 if you count PJ Washington in the small ball. So the Mavs have an abundance of options there. So I don't think Sharp ends up making this team, but I do think he's going to play a lot in Frisco and, earn his craft down there. He'll play in the Summer League again next year for the Mavs, and maybe something changes. And he's on this team as a two-way center next year. One last thing I want to talk about before I get on out of here, Naji Marshall. I'm very excited about Naji Marshall. I think we underrated his playmaking skills. He had 6 points, 6 boards, and 5 assists. 6 points, 6 boards, and 1 assist last night against Utah. And I think he's shown the ability that he's going to pretty much be able to do anything. Now, only just the 1 assist on the night against Utah, but he really did have a couple of plays where he was pushing the ball up the court. He's initiating the offense, and he's a guy that I'm just super excited to see play for this Mavericks team. The new Bulls are doing awesome, man. Klay Thompson and Dereck Lively, they seem like they're integrating seamlessly into this team, and I just can't wait for October 24th, man. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're probably going to do a preseason watch party for that finale against the Milwaukee Bucks, considering Jason Kidd said everyone's going to play close to regular season minutes. So be on the lookout for that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up icon, and we'll see you soon right here on Mavericks Today. Thanks for joining me this morning.